Hey everyone, welcome to the My Scaling YouTube channel. I'm your host Eddie Wang, and today is finally the day that we are going to talk about Tekken 8. And if you are just clicking in, beware that this is going to be a rather long video because we have a good lot to talk about, and specifically 5 points. And each one of these points, it has its own multiple topics, so I'm going to add timestamp to these videos as well as random gameplay videos as long as I keep narrating, and if necessary, only if necessary, I'm going to edit some things in order to make my opinions a little bit more clear. The reason why I am talking about this now is not only because Tekken 8 might actually be around the corner, but I'm going to share my opinion on why I do this now and what I think Tekken 8 should have in order to give a better experience to every single one, not only just me but what I see in general. So these points that I'm talking about are general game features. We also have AI features, meaning changes to AI, gameplay features, gameplay changes, as well as tutorial mode, and we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 points which are not included in this category, and we are going to cover this one first before we talk about the point 1. So are we ready for Tekken 8? In my honest opinion, I think not. Season 4 really just ended, and if they announce a Tekken 8 yet this year, is going to be insane. It's going to be crazy, but it's not going to be good because while Tekken 7 is a game that is slightly but slowly fading away, I think it's still going stronger than most games. At this moment, I think is way stronger than MK11 and even stronger than Street Fighter 5, which are the big giants of fighting games, right alongside of Tekken, right? And anything else outside of these 3 games is really not in the discussion. So Tekken is still really good, and I think doing a new season might actually be good in order to help the developers to give them time to work on Tekken 8, because we know about the leak that is out there. So in this video, I'm not going to talk about characters. We are not going to talk about what characters should deserve to be in the main roster, which one should be DLC. This is a discussion for elitists, so I don't get to decide that, so I don't care. We also are pondering which consoles the game should be released. For the love of God, please do not do what they did with Tekken 7 and released on arcades, and then we have to wait for at least 3 years, right from 2015 to 2017, in order to get the game. So 3 or 2 years after, and it was a really long wait, and it put the Asia on a lot of different grounds when it comes down to gameplay. So it really sucked for everyone else. We were forced to watch YouTube every single day for content. We had Mayman, which did an amazing job covering Tekken 7 for us, and I believe it was one of my most favorite moments when the game was announced. I would always tune into the main channel in order to watch and learn new things about Tekken 7. And so I hope they don't do it arcade release first and then console later. I believe everyone should have on the right and fair amount of how do I say this, damn it, equal opportunity to play the game at launch. This is the word that I was looking for. And which consoles I do believe Tekken 8 should be made for. I think, in my opinion, PS5 is still really hard to find, specifically in other corners of the world as well, and it's still hella expensive. So I believe PS5 is more like what the peripherals of the console used to be, like arcade sticks, right? And arcade sticks usually carry over to the next gen console. So I think Tekken 8 still being made for PS4 and Xbox One as well as for PS5 and the series, the new Xbox and whatever, is still a good choice as well as for PC. So if they do it only for PS5 and the next gen consoles and the PC, it's going to suck for a lot of people, because they are going to lose the majority of the player base, because not everyone has the chance to have a PS5 even by now or by a year from now. It's still impossible, because those motherboards, those secrets, those SSD, everything else is being used for something else, and the prices are really insane for some pockets, including my own. So let's get to the points now. And point 1, gameplay features. The first one isn't really just a general game feature, but it's a marketing thing that I really think it hurted Tekken a lot in general when it comes down to download new content. And I'm talking about of updates, right? When patch came out, it sucks to have a US PlayStation account, a US console account for an update in Tekken when a new season comes out, when a new DLC comes out. It sucks because why it sucks? Because Japan will always going to get the update first, then Korea, I believe they came out around the same time, then Europe and Australia will also going to be next, right to each other, and then it's going to be Brazil, and lastly is going to be the United States of America. So when you get the update in your United States of America PlayStation account from the consoles, the patch was already out for at least half a day in the minimum, and this sucks. I can tell you, this completely sucks, and I hated this practice that they made of seasoning the DLC content through time zone. It sucked so bad, and I really hope that they ditch this and make everything come out at the exact same time, right? It can be a day earlier for those that the time zone is a little bit late, like for example United States gets only half day later than everyone else. It sucks, it's really bad. So I really hope they ditch this. So one of the things that I really hope they change for PC is saving ranks on PC files. This made a lot of frauds in Tekken 7 ranked. I don't really care much about ranked, but it was something that really discouraged people to really push themselves into get better. It was terrible. I remember Orange doing this and saving his ranks after some matches with CBM, and then every time he kept losing, he just continued to play the game from the last rank where he got the better results. So it wasn't really much of a good practice. I really hated that, and many people did hated that. I remember Lauhai talking about this, CBM talking about this. So no more saving ranks on the PC files. This should be on a server, a dedicated server, and everyone should be pulling their ranks out of there. So PC ranks are frauds. It sucks. And another feature of game that I really hope it comes back is customizations, but not the Tekken 7 customization, because that one sucked. No offense, Harada and Michael Murray, it's really just not much of a great thing. I know maybe the resources of the game wasn't really directed at it, and maybe that was the price that we had to pay in order to have a better game. If it's the same, so be it, but if it's possible, I really loved the Tekken 6 customizable options, and if we can mix that with Tekken Tag 2 decals, then it's going to be really amazing, because everyone will be able to dress the characters without having to copy each other, and it's going to be really good. And this is my least favorite Tekken 7 Tekken customization ever since Tag 2. So Tekken 7 customization isn't really much of a great option. A feature that many people do hope it returns, because sometimes it's really tiring to fight other people, it's Tekken Force. Tekken Force used to be great. I know Harada doesn't have plans to bring this feature back, and it's really just a shot in the dark, but it would be really nice to have. The ghost from Treasure Battle should return, and we are going to see this on the next point and why I think ghost should be a good idea again, but we are going to cover that later on. Consoles and PC should have an universal input lag, so that we don't have this preferential thing of you have to play on PC if you really want the best experience in Tekken. And of course, improvements in the netcode, and this is going to be directly affected by the universal input lag, because now if the netcode is really this good in Tekken 8, then you can make a crossplay, and with crossplay you can merge both communities, the PC community and the console community, all together in ranked, and have a much healthier, not exactly healthier, but the game survives longer because everyone can play everyone, and I think this is good. And it's really nice to see that the decision from crossplay is actually on the developers hands now, and not on the industries that make the consoles. So it's a really good thing that Harada and Michael Murray should really think about crossplay for Tekken 8. So one thing that I don't want in Tekken 8 is Tekken Bowling, and I believe this is a general consensus that Tekken Bowling should just really go away. I think it's a waste of space in the game, and if I could delete just that mod, I would actually delete it in order to get a better thing out there. So this all concludes the first points of what I want in general game features, and we are going to move on to the point 2, which is changes to AI and AI features. So the AI in Tekken 7 sucks. Sorry, no offense, but it's really something that I believe Tekken was always a game where the AI was praised. I believe back in Tekken 5 it was really good, but this AI is much worse than Tag 2. Come on. So I believe making a much harder AI is really something that they should aim for. The current AI doesn't learn and just mash buttons randomly. You can land a bunch of counter hits after specific setups. The game modes are also in Treasure Battle aren't really much of a great thing, so I don't really like it. And why do I want you to play Treasure Battle with a much harder AI? It's because it actually helps recognizing the animations of the characters in the game. So as long as you don't have to play other people in order to learn this move or that move, when you usually play on the Treasure Battle against a harder AI and they start using the move, you will start to recognize what moves are and the frame data on them, and you will start to punish those moves. Doesn't need to make them cheap as the NetherRealm does with those AIs that are pretty much impractical to play against, but having them being really hard in analytical, right, being able to see what you do and learn from what you do if you have a pattern and all, and try to counter it would be really great. So one thing that I really do hope they make in Tekken 8 is download the player gameplay data likeness. What do I say about this? For example, we know that Ni plays Tekken really well, but if we go into the leaderboard of Ni, for example, and we could download his character Ghost, right, and we get it to enter in training mode and play against the Ghost of Ni, would we automatically get better at the game? Not exactly better, but having an AI that can emulate a little bit how Ni plays would be really good. And if we could download this Ghost, not only to practice with them, but to actually include them in the Treasure Battle as we go up in ranks, would be really interesting, and it would be really great feature to have. I know Tekken Tag 2 had something similar, but it wasted a lot of time trying to download the ghost data. Maybe we can do this in the background now, because doing now we can play the game while it's downloading, right? So maybe we can download ghost data in the same manner now, without actually interrupting the game. It would be really really great. So if we could use this to fight against them in an emulated fight against a ghost, maybe using the same likeness of the ghost in the training mode will be also really great. Maybe the guy that plays with us offline often, if we can save his ghost and then play against it a few times, would be really nice as well. I think these changes to AI would be really amazing, and I don't think anyone has actually done this yet, not even NetherRealm Studios, which are really good at listening to this kind of suggestions. So if Tekken can achieve this, this is going to be huge, and it's going to be the peak of learning from a fighting game as a feature. And this goes for point 2, of course, and point 3 is going to be gameplay features. So I'm talking about specifically training mode. And while training mode in Tekken is good, I feel that now with the current gen games is kind of lacking, specifically, and more so if you had a contact with MK11 training mode. I know it's something that back in the day I talked a lot in the forums of the Test Your Might about NetherRealm Studios having the chance to review their training mode and things that they could add in order to make the game better. And they are such good listeners that they actually did that, not only my suggestions but everyone else's. And I think that was the current peak of training mode right now in fighting games. It has to be the NetherRealm Studios training mode in most cases. Street Fighter has some things that I do like about it. Tekken also has some things that I do like about it, and MK11 has mostly anything that I do like about it. So what can Namco do in order to improve the training mode that they already have? One of the things that it's really annoying to practice in Tekken, in my opinion, is reversals, right? When I say reversals, is getting the AI to respond with a recorded move after we make them block something, because sometimes we want to see how can we avoid a certain move that is going to be made immediately. And for that, they're gonna have to use recorded playback after a block soon. This is an option that Tekken doesn't have, and you have to calculate that with your head. You're gonna have to imagine, okay, I press record and I imagine that the move that I'm going to force the AI to block lasts this long. So you're gonna have to play the move on your head, and then after you finish playing the move on your head, you're gonna have to figure out the block soon of that move and then respond by recording the move right after, and then you're gonna have to make adjustments to that. So it sucks, in my opinion, having to go through all this process just to learn how to avoid certain things, how to sidestep certain things in order to make a better experience. So I think they should update this with an option to play the recorded only when you put the AI to get hit by something, or to get blocked, or to block something, to hit something, or after they dodge something. Like for example, in option 1 we have action 1 and action 2, right? Maybe in the recorded we can have a playback 1, which is what happens wherever they do, and the playback 2 is only when they get hit by something or when they block something. Maybe we can set them to guard all, right? And then the playback 2, which is the action 2, we should have like a recorded function, so we can play back whatever it is that we recorded in the recorded function. So this will be really an amazing update to Tekken in order to play recorded features right after a certain block stun has ended, without having to go through too much rodeo. So this is the first feature that I was hoping that I do hope that Namco fixes in Tekken 8. I really hope they can make this work, because if they do, it's going to be really good for the game. Another thing that I really hope it stays is the frame data calculator. I love it, and it's one of the better things that happened in season 3, and I really hope that they give this for free. Although I wouldn't mind to pay for it again. I'm not giving them ideas, but it's just a really nice feature to have in general. Another thing I do really want them to do in the training mode is to allow characters to switch wherever they are going to respawn, because when you put someone in the corner in Tekken, in order to, for example, if I want to be in the other side of the corner, I'm gonna have to reverse the position. I'm gonna have to mirror it, and sometimes if you want to be in the other side of the corner, for example in the left side of the corner, you can't, because in the game only allows you to choose wall, wall break and whatever. So you cannot really spawn if you want to spawn left, right, middle, or right in place, or in the stored data. When you, like for example, you set up a specific distance and then you say this place, right, and every time you reset, it's going to reset to whenever you set it, like the distance first. It's something that NetherRealm did with MK11, and it does wonders to spacing and training specific carries and stuff. It's really amazing. Really hope Tekken can catch up to that as well. Move list should now show which side a specific attack tracks, with visual hint in training mode to which side it can be stepped. I know Virtua Fighter, the last one that came out for free, does this, and it's amazing because you get to see to which side a movie tracks, and when it does, when the AI does the move, it tells you exactly to which side you can sidestep that move, and you can do that on reaction, and it's really great. So if Tekken could actually have like a hint similar, right, that would appear if, for example, someone did a down forward 1 or a Dragunov like running 2 or whatever, and it would indicate if the move can be stepped to the right or to the left, or if you can step both sides. It will be really amazing for the game, and it would do wonders. So really hope that the devs take notes on this if they watch this video. And fourth, and it's not the last one, this is just point number 4. We have a bunch of them, and we are going to try to go as quickly as we can. And less wall carry, and for example, I think they ruined the Tekken 7 with season 3, and everyone comes out from a wall into another wall with a combo, and I don't really like it, because launchers in Tekken and combo used to be like the last thing that you ever think about it, and combos used to be hard, and because corner needs to be earned. But ever since season 3 came out, everyone is Lee, everyone is Nina, and everyone is Heihachi, and all they do is wall carry from a wall to wall. Even Jin, that wasn't really much of a great wall carrier, and he needed to have really good execution, now it carries from wall to wall, and I'm not really much of a fan of the design that everyone gets to be Nina and Lee and Heihachi. I really hate this feature, and I'm okay with some characters being able to be specialists in this, like for example, of course, besides Nina and Lee and Heihachi, Kunimitsu is really good with that, but every single one else, it's really just not the cup of tea, and I think this ruined Tekken ever since. Return of Ground and Oki game, and you guys know that they remade the ground game in Tekken 7. You can wake up now with invincibility frames, but in return, the Oki in Tekken 7 is a pretty tamed version of Okizeme, and after all these years, I can finally say that I really do miss the Tag 2 and Tekken 6 Okizeme. Maybe giving us back some of the features, like the way they used to wake up and allowing characters to really pick up in order to have another layer in the ground, because right now most people just lay on the ground and escape everything. So having that extra layer might actually be a good thing again, in my opinion. Electric's punishing update mechanics. We all know that Mishima are really feared because of the electrics, and there is a huge myth on electrics being one hell of a move that you can launch people on block at -14. The thing is that this is mostly near to impractical despite being possible, right? Because you have to just frame the electric on the right block stun. And why this is really not practical, it's because Tekken, each move that is -14 doesn't have the same block stun as the other. It actually varies from a move to move, so some are easier to do with while others do not. They can either make the block stun of the -14 frame moves equal across the board, or they can make electrics just bufferable enough for a 14 frame launch when made out of a block stun. Instead of being 11 frames, animation becomes 14, just like Kunimitsu does and Brian does with forward 2, forward back 2, right? He has forward back 2, and Kunimitsu has the Tensho Kaisen, which is a 14 frame launcher. Maybe Mishima should have something similar, and if not, maybe all -14 frame moves should have the exact same block zone in order to mitigate this possibility and actually make them a force to be reckoned with. 2 rage drive per character. Some characters only have 1 rage drive, and I'm a little bit skeptical about this because some characters 1 rage drive is enough, but sometimes I feel like most of the rage drive is really just one thing. It's a mid that splats into the ground or starts a launcher, and people tend to throw that move out there whenever they feel like, oh, it's going to duck, I'm gonna do this, or it's really just something to throw out, and if they duck, GG's, it's a launch, it's whatever. So I don't really like that almost the majority of the rage drive of the game behave this same way. Maybe they should have something specific for them. Rage arts, everyone should be unsafe. That is true. No more safe rage arts, and maybe no more rage arts that people can duck around it, because those sucked. I know Jin rage art sucks despite being fast. It's really poor, and most of the time you cannot really use it when people try to go for the crashes, and you can't really use the rage art, and it's really bad. And while Warang does have a safe rage art, and let's just skip this. Updated tracking and updated dodging. No longer getting hit if you step on the right direction where a certain move is supposed to have a tracking weaknesses. This is something that I really hope that Tekken takes from Virtua Fighter again, because in that game, whenever a move has a tracking, you can sidestep that move to the right direction, and when you do that correctly, the move will not going to hit you, specifically if you do it on reaction. As long as you did the sidestep right, the character is going to avoid that move. Maybe Tekken should have something similar, but I'm kinda a little bit skeptical because attacking after dodging in Virtua Fighter is kinda hard to do it, and Tekken does this differently because it allows you to freely move after. So maybe it's something to be studied, and if they think it's worth implementing, maybe they should really do it. Ditch the mid crashing. I don't think mid crashing should be a thing. We see Claudio with up kicks that can crash mids. We can see Xiaoyu crashing mids with other things other than obviously the AOP. Zafina crashing mids. Kunimitsu is crashing mids with back down 4. And there is a lot of mid crashing things in this game, and I think those are unbalanced. Maybe they should really look at this and make it better for a better game experience. If I know my opponent is going to duck then my mate should be able to hit anyone who goes into what it should be their weaknesses. Ducking. How can someone duck a mid check? That sucks. That really sucks. Camera switch Rayard should die as well as mix. There are some characters that can mix up with a camera switch, and some characters that can Rayard and the camera is going to switch, and the person blocking will going to be catch it on a cross-up situation, and this isn't really a great design. I think this should die in my opinion. No more option selecting arm bars in Tekken, and I think I speak in general because every character that has an arm bar cannot get like for example into an arm bar. Maybe the ground game should be a little bit expanded on what it already does, but not option selecting the arm bar should be a thing. Maybe we should have an arm bar to the other hand as well, so it could diverse a little bit on how to get the damage for those characters that can take the game to the submission, right? It would be really interesting to see. And finally, and last of the points is point 5, where I'm talking about the tutorial mode. And in tutorial mode, I really do hope to see full guide through the general mechanics of the game, like things that they don't really explain, like how can you sidestep, when you should sidestep, right? How to do an ultimate tackle, how to avoid a tackle, how to take throws, Korean back dashes and stuff. For at least the most basic things that we content creators usually have to always talk about in the beginning of every Tekken. This should be getting out of the way right now, like how to do a wall jump, for example. This is something that you don't see on any Tekken tutorial. Instead of having what they did with the story mode, maybe they should have a feat like the story mode, but with those mechanics instead. It would be hella golden. What is crashing, for example? It would be really interesting. And finally, a brief introduction to what each character is and what is their goal while playing, strengths and weaknesses of such characters. This would help people pick up characters right off the bat. Like for example, if you can say that Jin is a character that excels at poking, and while he has a lot of basic things, he is fairly advanced, and if you don't understand Tekken well, he is not recommendable for beginner players because of it. Mishimas are advanced characters that require you to do a lot of execution with electrics, and you have to just frame it, but on point of that, they have a little bit of superiority with wave dashes, hell sweeps that is very difficult to block, 50-50 mix-ups, and so on and so on. Their weaknesses, you need to step this side and blah 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 blah. Maybe a collaboration with content creators would be great to make those things work in general, but this is what I think. So what do you think we should have in Tekken 8? Some people say it's around the corner, some people say it's not, but I would still be fine with a new season 5 before Tekken 8 comes out, because for me Tekken is going to be relatively new and is going to add replayable value only if, not only, but if the dev team can add all these features that we just discussed for the past 30 minutes long. I think it would be really interesting, and it would make the game hella fresh, innovative, and then after all this is set in stone, we could finally talk about the characters. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit your like, subscribe, and see you guys again on the next video.